After 6 seasons, years of rich historical drama, and a great deal of rating success, what exactly made history decide to axe its flagship show? These are the real reasons why Vikings is finally coming to an end. Growing up on his parents' farm in Australia, Travis Fimmel was a million miles away from the bright lights of Hollywood. But a chance encounter with a modeling scout changed the course of his life forever. After a stint working in London, he decided to try his luck stateside, and according to the Sydney Morning Herald, was offered a contract instantly after, quote, swaggering barefoot into LA models. He quickly became the face of Calvin Klein, but while he made money posing in his underwear, he was also fine-tuning his acting skills. Fimmel had a number of roles in Australia prior to Vikings, but it was playing the show's enigmatic lead that brought him international recognition. His intense and often sympathetic portrayal of farmer-turned-Viking leader Ragnar Lothbrok was the true heart of the show, so when the character was killed off in Season 4, Vikings entered uncharted territory. According to Forbes writer Eric Kane, it was a gamble that ultimately didn't pay off. After the show's cancellation, he wrote, "Thank goodness, the show has been lost at sea for a long time now, and probably should have wrapped with the death of Ragnar and departure of lead Travis Fimmel." When Ragnar met his end in Season 4, viewers were supposed to get on board with the idea of his sons heading to England to avenge his death. We were introduced to his firstborn son Bjorn way back in the first season, but we didn't really get to know the rest of Ragnar's brood until after the Season 4 time jump. Vikings creator Michael Hurst told Variety, "It was very important to bring on Ragnar's sons. I've invested a lot of time, hope, and expectation in these sons. It's very important that the audience invest in these new characters." Unfortunately for Hurst, this never really happened. Despite his best efforts, audiences just didn't seem as interested in watching the antics of Ragnar's offspring, even when they were hell-bent on avenging the man himself. After news of the show's end broke, Forbes reported, "Ragnar's story was over a long time ago, and none of the stories that have come since have resonated as much with viewers." TV Equals placed the blame directly at the feet of Ragnar's sons. They wrote, "The death of Ragnar Lothbrok has left a void that his sons have not yet been able to fill. Most of Ragnar's sons are kind of boring." History ordered a 6th season of Vikings before Season 5 had even begun. At the time, nobody knew that the 6th season would be the last, but the decision to cancel the show seems to have been influenced, at least in part, by a decline in viewership. Following the Season 5 premiere, Carter Matt tried to soften the blow by suggesting that it's hard for any cable series to amass large numbers these days, but the facts are still hard to ignore. The outlet wrote, "The bad news is that these ratings are down fairly substantially from the .8 rating that the show generated for its Season 4 premiere back in February 2016. It's also down about 9% in total viewers. Versus the average Season 4 rating, the Vikings premiere is down about 13% in the demo and 4% in the viewers." This wasn't a new trend either. The previous season also saw a significant drop. According to TV series Finale, Season 4 of Vikings was down by a whopping 28% in the demo and 44% in viewers. History renewed anyway, but the network must have recognized that the show was approaching its end. One surefire way of getting waning viewers to stick with the show is to announce that the next season will be the last. And it seems the network wanted to wrap Vikings up before it saw a mass exodus. Gustaf Skarsgård's Floki has been a fan favorite since day one, but the character underwent wholesale changes in Season 5. He sails with Ragnar's sons as part of the Great Heathen Army, but once they avenge him, Floki becomes little more than a spare part.
"I feel trapped in all this happiness. I feel trapped, Helga."
He then takes to the seas alone and puts himself at the mercy of the gods, who lead him to what he believes to be Asgard, but we know today as Iceland. Floki decides to bring a handful of settlers to this new wild land, hoping to build a community free of the violence that had become an everyday part of Viking life. Despite Floki's attempts at keeping the peace, petty arguments turn into blood feuds and the settlement struggles. It ought to have run across a few episodes at best, but the Iceland plot was still ongoing at the end of Season 5, testing the patience of many viewers. One ticked-off Redditor wrote, "I can't believe I gave Hurst the benefit of the doubt with this storyline. The drama between Eyvind and Floki has been forced from the start, and they've made absolutely no effort to get us to care about any of the new characters." Floki's voyage to Iceland may have been inspired by true events, but sadly it made for some pretty boring television. When Travis Fimmel departed Vikings, Catherine Winnick became the new anchor of the show. Ragnar's first wife, Lagertha, has always been loved by fans, so this seemed a smart move. But while Winnick made a name for herself playing Lagertha, like Fimmel, it was only a matter of time before she too moved on to bigger things. Vikings may have sailed a little off course in Season 5, but Winnick remains in demand. The Dark Tower was a letdown for her, and Polar didn't exactly go to plan, but Winnick is set to return to TV with a brand new Netflix show in 2019, Wu Assassins, a martial arts crime series set in San Francisco's Chinatown. Winnick's in-show son Alexander Ludwig is also a hot property thanks to his portrayal of Bjorn Ironside. Ludwig had previously appeared in the Hunger Games franchise, but Vikings catapulted him to new levels of fame. He told Channel 24, "I'd never experienced anything like that. It's amazing how much this show has really affected people in all walks of life globally." It's not a stretch to imagine that Ludwig must be in as much demand as Winnick and Fimmel. When the first episode of The Last Kingdom aired in 2015, some had already dismissed it as a Vikings knockoff. By the time the first season was done, however, many minds had been changed. In its review for the show, the AV Club wrote, "BBC America's sprawling, arresting 8-part historical miniseries The Last Kingdom proves that there's room enough on television for more than one Viking invasion." The show, which is based on the Saxon Stories novels by Bernard Cornwell, was praised by critics across the board, creating an instant rivalry with Vikings. Of course, Vikings and The Last Kingdom aren't the only two shows set during that tumultuous period in European history. When Eric Kane expressed relief over Vikings ending in his Forbes piece, he pointed out that the market was becoming highly saturated. Kane wrote, "We have The Last Kingdom airing still on Netflix after all. Oh, and there's also the wonderful Norsemen. Viking shows are becoming like zombie shows." Norsemen is a comedy show, so it wasn't ever really a direct threat to Vikings, but its success further proves that history isn't the only network capable of creating a compelling show about the Viking way of life. The Viking trend has also hit the big screen with Northmen, a Viking saga arriving hot on the heels of Vikings in 2014. And Norse culture remains prevalent in Hollywood today thanks to the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Viewers have lots of different places to go should they want a Viking fix, and Vikings itself has suffered for that fact. Despite everything, many Vikings fans still believe that the show is being sent to Valhalla far too soon. Disgruntled viewers took to Twitter to vent when the news broke, comedian Kathleen Madigan among them. She tweeted, "Vikings is being canceled after season 6. I'll just go ahead and prepare my own Viking funeral in solidarity. Sad news." And while some fans might point out that the show has already covered everything historians know about Ragnar and his sons, that doesn't necessarily mean Vikings has to end. Hearst's other show, The Tudors, was notorious for being historically inaccurate, but even leading historians admitted that the things Hearst added worked well for TV. Dr. Tracy Borman told The Telegraph, "Yes, the scriptwriters may have taken liberties with the facts, but they have also succeeded in recreating the drama and atmosphere of Henry VIII's court." Viking star Alexander Ludwig has praised Hearst's willingness to take a creative liberty with the show, which he could well have continued to do for many more seasons. The decline in ratings was undoubtedly on the mind of history executives when they agreed to bring Vikings to an end, but Michael Hearst didn't mention any of that when he sat down with Variety in January 2019. Officially, the interview was about the season 5 finale, but the show's cancellation inevitably came up. Pressed for details, Hearst claimed that 6 seasons was actually enough time for him to tell the story he wanted to tell from the very beginning. He said, "What I was trying to do was write the saga of Ragnar Lothbrok and his sons. After 6 seasons and 89 episodes, that's what I felt, finally, I'd done. I had no reason to want to continue it beyond that."
Don't waste your time looking back. You're not going that way.
Hearst was quick to remind Variety readers that the funeral pyre hadn't been lit just yet. In an effort to lift spirits among the wounded fans, the showrunner started hyping up the 6th and final season. He told the publication, "We visit 3 new worlds in those episodes. We go through great tragedies and great heroism. And if you have tears to weep, be prepared to weep them as you watch season 6. I'm very proud of the show. I did what I wanted to do. That's the truth." Losing Vikings is a huge blow for the show's many dedicated fans, but it was softened by news that a spin-off series is in the cards. When Variety asked Hearst what he had planned for this new show, the writer and producer said that he considers it a continuation series.
We were defeated.
We live to fight another day.
Hearst went on to explain that he had developed an attachment to the characters he brought to life in Vikings, which is why he wanted to be involved in any new show set in that world. Hearst said, I have to say that they're not characters to me. I write so much about them, I've lived with them for 7 years. They're real people to me. So I care and have been caring about them for a long time. I want to guide them through whatever storylines they have. So does this mean we'll see more of our favorite Viking characters pop up in this continuation series? And what does continuation series even mean? First explained. Continuation means that if we make it, it will be connected to my saga. It may not involve necessarily the same characters. I can't go into more details than that, but for the fans of the show, it will be a continued enjoyment to the Vikings experience. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.